Hey guys, Gary J here. Today we're looking at a fabulous, wonderful rifle here. One of my favorite all-time rifles, and I know you hear me say that all the time because they are. But this, my friend, is the beautiful, fabulous Winchester Model 70 XTR Varmint Special. And this particular rifle here, guess what caliber it's in? It's in one of the fastest bullets in the world that chambers this particular rifle. And some of you gun guys probably already thinking, when you think of some of the fastest bullets in the world, one that comes to mind usually is going to be the 22-250, the 22-250 caliber. And you would be right in this case because this Winchester Model 70 XTR is chambered in the 22-250. That bullet can travel over 4,000 feet per second, almost a mile a second. And that's pretty incredible. So that's a great thing about this particular gun. Another thing about this particular Model 70 XTR is that it has a bull barrel. That bull barrel means it's a lot thicker than the regular barrels. They have a featherweight version and they have the heavy bull barrel as you see on this one. This is not a gun that you tote around and throw up and shoot. That's why we have the tripod on the front of it. This is more like a bench gun. Now you could throw it up and try to shoot it, but it's very front heavy. This is a heavy rifle here. It was designed for varmint shooting. It's good out to 300-400 yards. In the hands of the right person, the right ammo, and a good shooter, being able to dope the wind, understand the bullet drift from wind and things of that nature, you can put 3 or 4 or 5 rounds in probably 1/10 of an inch at 100 yards. A lot of guns are good to be able to put bullets within 1 inch in a circle at 100 yards. That's really a pretty good gun there. And a lot of guns, commercial guns, will do that in 2 or 3 inches at 100 yards, which is not that great, but it's not that terrible either. But when you get into the 1/10 of an inch, my friend, you've really got something there on true accuracy, because when you're shooting at 300, 500 yards with a gun like that, or even 1,000 yards, that means a lot. So I put bullets in the same hole with this one before, and it was just really amazing how accurate this 22-250 can be. And with accuracy, let me say, if you have the most accurate gun ever made in the world by master gunsmith, 50% of the ability to shoot accurate is going to be the gun. The other 50% is going to be the shooter, who is able to be able to aim and shoot and pull the trigger and dope the wind and allow for the wind drifting the bullet off and things of that nature. There's a lot that goes into that. So, but this is truly an accurate Model 70. Now, a little bit about the history of the Model 70 Winchester. Now, we go back to 1936. The Winchester Model 70 came out. Before that, Winchester had made a Model 57, and that was between 1925 to 1936 or 1935. So, in that model, that earlier model, was made after the Mauser design, which if you look at this, you say that looks like a Mauser in a way, and it does look like a Mauser in a way, because if you trace back the bolt-action rifle period, all bolt-action rifles generally have their beginning back to the model 1898 Mauser. The 1898 Mauser, and there was one a couple of years before that by Mauser, they had a bolt-action system, and so they were kind of the inventors of bolt-action systems. So all guns generally without a bolt action are variation of the Mauser bolt action in some way, shape, form, or another. Okay. So the first one was made after the Mauser, the Model 57 Winchester, from 1925 to about 1935. 1936, the Model 70 Winchester. This is the Model 70. Beautiful, beautiful rifle. Okay, Winchester made these from 1936 to 1980. That is the Model 70. After that, we had a company called the U.S. Repeating Arms who picked this up from 1980 and made it until 2006. And these were all made in New Haven, Connecticut from 1936 to 2006. And then after 2006, the F.N. Herschel Company started building these, bought the rights to the Winchester. And the Winchester still has a great name. The Winchester rifle was used in the military too, World War II, in Vietnam, in Korea, and a lot of times it was used as a sniper rifle. Very accurate rifle. The competition that the Model 70 had was with Remington 700, ADL or BDL. The Remington 700s are very similar to the Winchester Model 70 bolt action system. A lot of your Marine sniper rifles are made off of the Remington Model 700 bolt action system. And but the Winchester Model 70 here, that particular design was created and made into a lot of sniper rifles for the military between World War II to Vietnam. When I think about Vietnam, you got to think of one particular individual. In Vietnam, you had one of the most well-known snipers of all time, and that was Gunnery Sergeant Carlos Hathcock. He was part Indian. There's a great story about Carlos Hathcock if you want to study up on one of the greatest American snipers of all time. And he used a Model 70 Winchester rifle as his sniper rifle. And he used a 8-powered times 43 scope. I think it's called a unilateral scope. And he was amazingly accurate. He shot competition too, and was just incredible a shooter, a marksman. So he used it and is known as one of the greatest snipers of all time. Now, when we think about the Model 70 Winchester, a lot of Winchesters are Model 70 Winchesters, but then you have the Model 70 XTR. XTR. This is an XTR. And what does XTR mean? XTR basically means that the rifle, this particular Model 70, has extra care and quality in its manufacturing with the Winchester arms. Which means basically, like in this case, with XTR, you're going to have a better bluing job perhaps on this than you would the regular Model 70. You're going to have better wood, walnut wood, better checkering. On this one, you've got a black fore-end and a black fore-end on the end right here with a white stripe right there, spacer, white spacer right there. And they just did a little bit more quality control on these particular XTRs than they did the regular Model 70s. Model 70s are fine, but this was like the higher end, the better quality one that you could get. And so you'll see some improvements there on the action, the accuracy too of these, I think, on the XTR. So that's an important thing to know about why it's called XTR. It's not just a regular Model 70, which is great in itself, but there are a couple of things that were done to this to make it the higher grade of the Model 70. In 1999, Shooting Times magazine stated that the Winchester Model 70 rifle bolt action was the best bolt action rifle of the century. And that's what they said. Of course, people have opinions, and especially when you think about the Model 700 Remington, which is hard to beat too. But I like that competition because you got companies that are trying to make a better gun than the other, and that ends up creating better guns than the next company. But this particular gun, we're going to look at the stock, the receiver, and the barrel on this one. And again, this is a very heavy gun. This is not a gun you want to tote around. That's why you have a tripod. You put this on a bench or whatever, however you want to do that, and shoot it that way. And it is truly accurate. Okay, we're looking at the stock on this now. Now you can tell that is a decent gloss on this right here. It's a very pretty wood and beautiful checkering on this stock. And that is really a pretty wood. Beautiful checkering there. And you see this white spacer in the middle. It's black on the end right here. Looking at the other side of this, we see we have the Monte Carlo cone up here and cheek piece. And that's really nice. And that's some pretty wood right there. Look at that grain going through there. They use our high quality walnut a lot of times on the XTR. And you can see some of the color of the wood coming through here on the checkering, which is really nice. And that's some really nice checkering there. And a white spacer and black fore-end. So that's really nice on the wood here of the XTR Model 70 Winchester. And let's take a look at this beast of a barrel here. And this is the Winchester Model 70 XTR. Model 70 XTR 22-250 Remington. And the bottom here says proof tested. Made in New Haven, Connecticut. But yeah, that is really a nice barrel. This is a huge barrel on this thing right here. Okay, looking at the barrel on the other side here, we can kind of see the serial number here. And again, this is a huge barrel. The scope is set at 400 yards. But notice right here, we have no sights on this barrel. You get it's drilled and tapped for sights. I wouldn't mind putting the sights on here. Again, this is not the type that you going to tote around and shoot with the sights on it. I mean, you can do that, and you can put peep sights on it. And you see the front end of the barrel here is drilled and tapped too for the front sight. But these were made for people who just want to shoot. And let's see if we can get a better view of this barrel right here. Maybe you'll see that that is a huge, thick barrel. right there. So I don't know. This thing feels like it weighs 10 pounds, but somewhere around there. Just a beautiful gun here. Yeah, looking at the receiver here. See, that's got that lip on it right here, like the Mauser does. And you got a jeweled boat right here. And that's really pretty on the jeweled boat. And we got really, really good mounts for the scope. This is not an expensive scope here, but it works really well on this one. And we see our boat right here. And our safety. I like the safety system right here. You just pull this back right here, flip it forward. The Mauser, you know, you had to flip it like 180 degrees, like from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock position. So this is like a 30-degree safety. And so it's really nice. And the boat on this right here slides like glass on this. Slides really well. Now, one thing I will mention about this particular boat right here, since this kind of rifle is used for varmints or target shooting, a lot of times what you do with barrels like this, sometimes people do that, is that you can't see the barrel here on the inside, but a lot of times when you store these guns, you take like a 22 patch, which is about so big, and you stick it in the end of the barrel on this side, and then at the end of the barrel, you will stick one in the end of the barrel. And what that does, after you have oiled the inside of the barrel on, that just makes sure that you don't get any moisture in that barrel. So you put like a 22 patch, which is so big, stick it in this end of the barrel and the other end of the barrel, prevent any kind of moisture. Some people are real particular about these kind of guns and the accuracy of them and protecting the barrel. Because this is such a hot round, if you ever buy 22 250, look where the bullet leaves the casing, the brass casing. And what will happen is that if that gun is wore out, it'll burn down the rifling in here, the grooves and all, and you can tell if one's been shot out or not. But this one is in really, really good shape. And I really do like the mounts here. You're not going to get a better mount than that, I don't think, for the scope. Great scope mounts. But I was going to say, on this one, when you pull the bolt back, it ejects the shell, right? Now on this one, the ejector has been modified. So like when I shoot and I pull the bolt back, my shell is not going to fly 3 feet away from me. My shell is going to come out about right here, about 6 or 8 inches, and just kind of almost fall out. Because what happens when people shoot these kind of guns for accuracy and all that is that you want to just grab your casing, because you're going to reload that casing. So this way you're not throwing the casing 3 feet away. It's just when you slam the boat back, it's just going to almost fall out right there. Okay? So that's something you can do if you're going to be reloading your brass and stuff like that. and it's not difficult to repair that, so it will throw them out farther. But this gun is so heavy, you're not going to want to tote it around. So that's one thing you can do too with these. And you can see maybe this, get it to focus. See, it says fire right here, and you flip this back. I want to mention one thing, that when you're dealing with bolt action rifles, one of the things that you want to do is that when you eject a spent casing here, don't pull it back slow. I mean, now on this one, it doesn't matter. I pull it back kind of slow, but because my case is not going to fly out. But when you pull it back firm, and that helps throw the casing out. And when you put another cartridge in here, slam it forward. Don't just go like this right here real easy. Slam this thing forward and pull down. Bolt actions are made to do that. Slam them forward, firm, and lock it all the way down. Okay. And again, when you're discarding your casing, pull it back firm. Okay. And that's kind of the way you deal with bolt action. You got to manhandle them a little bit. Okay. Now again, this is more like for target shooting and stuff like that, so it's you don't have to do that quite as much, but you need to slam it when you put a cartridge in there. Okay. Okay, looking at the belly of this Winchester Model 70. This is the plate right here. You take your shells out, and you got a little push button right here. And you push that button down right there, and gravity normally lets this fall loose, and you have access to releasing your cartridges, and you can see your jeweled bolt there. Okay, and just push it down, and it locks. So that's pretty simple. Nice trigger too. Tell you one thing about this trigger. The trigger pull on this one is set to about 2 pounds, if that much. I mean, you just have to hardly touch this trigger. I mean, it's probably maybe 1.5 pounds. Cause this is so easy to pull the trigger on this one right here, and that's what you want if you want your target shooting. You buy a jewel trigger or something like that, and you can adjust those down to, like, I think 1 pound, 1 to 2 pounds. So that's what the bottom looks like. And you see the checkering work right here. It's pretty. And the grip right here. It's nice looking with a white spacer. And you got catch where you slinging on.